Children, where are you? I know you're here somewhere.
How does a nation in the grip of an emergency shutdown find a way out?
What we need to do is keep the restrictions in place and then slowly lift them.
To get people back on the streets, the Prime Minister says we need to do three things. The first is more testing. So far, we've just been testing people with symptoms of COVID-19 or other high-risk groups like return travellers. But now we need to try to test everybody. It's called sentinel testing, testing different people in different ways.
We might also test a sample of the community on a regular basis just to check whether the coronavirus has spread into the community and people are infected but they don't have any symptoms.
One very different way is to examine what's going down the toilet.
To spot an early outbreak that might occur that we might miss through other forms of testing. Also, the degree of viral load we might find in the faeces could give an idea of how severe the outbreak is.
The second part of the exit strategy is contact tracing. Once a person tests positive for COVID-19, massive nationwide teams track down everybody that person has interacted with. Small teams used to track cases of measles or HIV have been dramatically expanded. The government's also developing an app that will help authorities find anyone who's been in contact with confirmed cases. Today, refusing to rule out forcing everyone to share their location data.
I've always been a believer in the Australian people making the right decision, and so I think a voluntary approach at first is definitely the way to go.
Children, where are you? I know you're here somewhere. I've lots of lovely goodies for you.
Jeremy mustn't.
Lollipops and all free today. Cherry pies, cream puffs, ice cream, treacle tarts.
Treacle tarts and ice creams and all free.
Come along, kitty winkies.
Come on. But Jeremy, Trudy said we mustn't. Just need get Trudy some as well. Come on.
Even with all those measures in place, outbreaks are still possible, and then the response becomes important. Australia is now in a much better position to contain an outbreak than it was when COVID-19
is a vital weapon to defeat coronavirus. And tonight the government is pleading with you to pick up your phone and download its COVID Safe Tracing app. And for anyone worried about their privacy, we're promised our data will be secure.
To keep us all safe,
the hard sell has begun.
It's vital to know quickly if you've come in contact with someone who has tested positive for coronavirus.
As the government rolls out its high-tech disease detector.
No Australian should have any concerns about downloading this app. It is only for one purpose.
To recruit mobile phones in the hunt for a virus.
It will help us as we seek to return to normal and the Australian way of life.
It works through a Bluetooth handshake.
Right now, it's the only safe handshake we're allowed to have.
Bluetooth connects phones that have the app installed. If they're in close contact for 15 minutes, the numbers are exchanged, encrypted and stored on each phone. That's unless a user gets COVID-19. Then health officials will ask to access the data and trace all the contacts. Downloading the app is voluntary, and the government says the information demanded has been stripped to a minimum.
Obviously your phone number, your name, your age range and your postcode.
There are reasonable concerns.
The government needs to work hard to address the very valid privacy and other concerns of the Australian people.
Only state health officials will legally be allowed to access the app. All data will be stored in Australia and it will be a crime to export it. The app can be deleted at any time, and when the health crisis passes, all the information will be wiped.
Probably the safest data that has been provided by any group at any time in Australian history.
There are broad endorsements.
I'd be happy to download the app.
World's best public health system needs your support too.
As a doctor, I will be downloading COVID Safe app tonight.
And there are some early signs that it will win broad approval. Polling from the Australia Institute shows 45% of Australians are willing to download the app. The government is targeting a 40% uptake.
Good uptake, in my mind, would be well over half the people, and I reckon we'll get it.
The hope is it will be another step on the long road to recovery. Chris Ullman, 9 News.
Bunnings has been the target of yet another anti-mask crusade. Lizzie Rose from Melbourne posted her footage of a heated argument with staff over why she wasn't wearing a mask.
And I have a person accompanying me here.
She has, but it's a bogus piece of paper.
It's not a bogus piece of paper, it's a legitimate piece of paper. So the man is on the phone now to the police, he's calling the police. Despite the fact that I'm actually here shopping, I'm a paying customer. Remember, this is about your control, it's about your compliance, it's about silencing you.
All right, Lizzie joins us now from Melbourne. Lizzie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, Lizzie, people are watching, as we've seen on our show even today, their loved ones die from this virus, and all people are asking is for people to wear a mask. Help us understand why this is such a problem for you.
For me, it's about choice. It's about personal choice, and my health comes first. And I also have an exemption from wearing a mask. And I noticed you mentioned in your clip there that it was a heated argument at Bunnings. There was no heated argument at Bunnings at all. I was quite calm and within my rights to say what I said. And I only started filming to protect myself because of what happened when I was surrounded by staff in Bunnings.
See, Lizzie, I watched your video and thought it was quite aggressive and that you were being deliberately antagonistic.
Well, I guess you didn't see what happened before that. Again, I went to Bunnings. It is my local Bunnings. I've lived here 17 and a half years, and I went there shopping for the intention to fix my yard that we're standing in here that's being all gutted. So there was no intention to do anything on a Sunday other than go to my local store, get some supplies and leave. When I entered, mask, obviously no mask, mask-free, I calmly entered the store. Nobody approached me. I went past probably 4 or 5 staff. Nobody said anything or did anything to me. I was probably there nearly 5 minutes, I'd say, before I was in the shovel aisle trying to work out what to buy and before anything happened. I kept my documents with me because just in case something happens. I've never been actually asked to produce any documents before anywhere I've gone in any shops or supermarkets. So, but I wasn't being antagonistic at all. I stated what Daniel Andrews instructed me to state on the Department of Health and Human Services website, that if I have a issue, a medical issue or a reason to be exempt, I simply can state that and that's enough.
Do you think wearing a mask is a breach of your human right?
Yeah, I do, because this is my voice and this is about an agenda. It's not just about a virus. And despite the virus, in my opinion, yes, being very real, I've never said it's not real, it was orchestrated. And the level, the amount of effect that it's had, is not true. The statistics aren't true. Florida just released that 90,000 cases were misdiagnosed and they've reduced their accuracy down to 11,000 cases. That's just one example. You had somebody on A Current Affair last night say they had a positive, then negative, then positive test. Yeah. The numbers are not true, and despite, you know, the virus being, I believe, biochemically engineered, intentionally, and I will say, because I know you're gonna ask me about the mask, right? You're gonna ask me about why did I wear a mask for one day for about 4 hours a few months ago, and then I wore a mask about a month ago when I was having my eyelashes done.
It's a good point.
Okay? The recent mask was a choice. Yeah, it was a choice. And this is my point. I did that to prove a point. It's about choice. If you want a mask, that's up to you. That's your business.
Can I just ask you, Lizzie, do the elderly in aged care homes, now 700 of them affected with COVID, do they have a choice? The answer is no.
Is it COVID? You know, is it COVID? How do you know it's COVID? Why is it that everybody that is dying this year in 2020
What was your medical degree again?
Death?
Sorry?
I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but I worked as a medic, okay? And I did, obviously, quite a while ago, not when COVID was around.
When did you work as a medic?
But I'm telling you right now, the statistics are wrong.
When did you work as a medic?
Last time was about 4 years ago.
Because I've got here that you're a professional psychic.
It was about 4 years ago last time.
Are you a medic or a psychic?
Yes. Yeah, I've been a professional psychic, a working psychic since I was 9 years old. I started psychic readings and for the public from the age of 12 to 13.
I think the issue is you deliberately went into that place. You deliberately went into that place to antagonise workers who are literally just trying to do their bit for the country right now, trying to protect other people from passing on this killer virus, which is what it is. You have and espouse all these weird, wacko beliefs, and unfortunately there are people out there who are going to believe you and who are going to side with you, and that's just irresponsible in the current climate. It's just irresponsible. You know what? I can't even listen to you anymore. I'm so sorry.
Put it to you, Carl?
I can't even listen to you.
I can't put it to you. You can't listen to me.
Nah.
I have a medical exemption.
Nah, it's wrong. I'm sorry. You know, I thought we'd in some way, shape or form get to a reasonable excuse as to why she was doing that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have got her in the first place. There's no reasonable explanation. None.
Well, that's it. I mean, with the fact that she went in filming the whole thing,
you know what?
Just suggest...
I'm just over it. You know, everyone's in lockdown. We've had people on our show who are losing loved ones, and they've got to say goodbye to their loved ones with FaceTime. And it's actually so upsetting, you know. And then we have someone like that who goes in, and it's all very difficult for everyone, especially in a working environment like Bunnings. They've got to put up with the public coming in, and there she is. And I just thought maybe there's some sense there from her, but there's just none. And I apologise from the outset if I've been too aggressive with her. But I just think that there's no place in Australia right now for that kind of belief.
I mean, we had this discussion last night and this morning about whether or not we would even give her airtime. We had this discussion, but then felt that it was actually important because this is happening over and over again, that Bunnings staff members who are doing the right thing are faced with this kind of activity. And we felt it was important to then hear her point of view. But, look, I back you 100%.
My little mice, come to me. What will it be? Ice cream? Chocolate?
In calling quits on that.
Well, yeah, apologies if you're offended. Let us know what you think about that on our Facebook page, and I'll try and get myself together. Sorry about that.
That's all right. We'll take an ad break, and I like it when you fire up with good reason, I might add.
Police in the city's west are tonight investigating an unthinkable act. A 2-year-old girl sexually assaulted inside a Penrith play centre. Due to COVID-19, investigators were able to seize a list of every visitor to the centre, some of them now potential suspects.
A popular Penrith family play centre, often packed out on a rainy day, but today locked up and swarming with police investigating the sexual assault of a 2-year-old girl.
Due to the age of the child, we're keeping a very open mind. She can't tell us a lot due to her tender age.
Police say she was missing from her mother for about 20 minutes inside the centre around midday yesterday. She was found in a storeroom.
The child's crying, distressed state, alerted another child in the area who alerted the mother, who was obviously frantic looking for the child.
The 2-year-old was taken to the Children's Hospital at Westmead. Naomi Gent was one of the mothers at the centre yesterday.
It'd just be devastating. I was in a bit of shock because it's not something that I thought of happening, and I'm just sorry that it happened there.
Everyone who entered the play centre yesterday had their contact details taken down due to COVID-19 restrictions.
What is it? What's happened?
The children